Hello everyone, Stefan here on the French Cooking Academy. Now many of you have been asking me, what do I cook when I'm not filming, and what are the everyday types of food that we have in France? Well, today, you know what, I was preparing food for tonight and we're making cordon bleu, which is a simple thing to make, and I'm going to show you how to make them from scratch. I'm sure it's nothing new for you, but we're going to try to come up with some new recipes. So the cordon bleu, if you don't know what that is, they're simple flattened pieces of meat that are covered with cheese and usually with ham. Today I'm going to use something a bit different. Look at these. I've got specialty ham, I've got some pancetta, I've got some veal and chicken, and I'm going to fill this with two types of cheese. A special blue cheese from the mountains, very sweet and melty, and this is again the Gruyere, the Swiss Gruyere. This is nice, salty and nutty. I'm going to serve this as well with some homemade potato chips that we're going to bake in the oven. So no need for a deep fryer. Let's go. So what are the ingredients we're going to be using for our homemade cordon bleu? This is home cooking, absolutely home cooking at its best. So what I'm going to be using, two types of meat, chicken, and this is veal. It looks exactly the same as chicken, slightly different, and this is white meat, and categorized as white meat in France. I'm going to use some pancetta for the veal, and some simple herb-infused ham for the chicken, and I've got two types of cheese. I'm going to use the, here you got the Gruyere, Swiss Gruyere cheese, and this is a nice blue cheese from the mountain region. And with these little things, the biscuit, some dry toast, I'm going to make some homemade breadcrumbs. Now the next things you need to do is really to flatten your meat. When you make cordon bleu, is always the big problem on to get these pieces of chicken really flat. So the butcher's already opened it and it was not a big fillet. So we need to try to get it a bit flatter. So we take one piece of baking paper, and I put my chicken on there, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of water with my hands to help the tissue from like spreading, because I'm trying to flatten it. I'll show you how. Okay, so a bit of water first, and I take another piece of parchment paper on top, and basically that's gonna help sticking, so you can see where the meat is. All right, it's there. And because I don't have a special tool to flatten, I'm gonna use a simple pan. And this thick bottom kind of pan, you see that thickness here, and that area is gonna really allow me to use that by pressing down, by tapping, to flatten my meat like that. And it's also gonna be even everywhere, because if you have something like too small, like a little hammer, you're gonna have some place is going to be flat, some place is going to be a bit bumpy. So what you're going to try to do, you can use one of those pans and be a savage and flatten. So I'm going to continue like this until this gets a little thinner, and just maybe half, not even half a centimeter. Alright, done. So I've done what I could with this particular piece of chicken. What's my take on the flattening of a piece of chicken? First off, if your chicken is not fat, you're going to have a harder time. You want a nice, I would take a corn-fed chicken that's nice and fatty, and that's going to help to expand. This was a bit dry, so I had to, add a bit of water, and I could flatten it pretty well. As you can see, it's very thin, and I'm going to be able to roll it. Before you roll, I'm going to add a bit of salt, and I'm going to season it already. But before we're going to work with it, we're going to put it in the fridge. So I'm going to take my my roll here, sorry, my escalope as we call it, put it on a little plate like that, and I'm going to store this in the fridge for 10 minutes, 15 minutes to really get it a bit firmer. And now for the breadcrumbs. Now there are times you forget to buy them, and in France the great thing we always have in the cupboards is these things. They're called biscotti. I think in Italian they're called biscotti. They're just little toasts that are ready to be eaten, and as you can see, they're really dry. So what I do, just take a sieve like this, and sorry for the ears guys, but this, okay? And I'm going to continue crunching these like that, and passing them for my sieve, and look what happened. It's magical! I'm having superb breadcrumbs. They're really fresh and crunchy, and that's what I use all the time. That's it, all done. Look at this. Look at these lovely breadcrumbs, and this is perfect, honestly, for anything that you need to paneer. Great. Now my chicken is ready, so what we're going to do now is just put some ham on there. So I've got the large piece over here, And even if you ham, I'm taking on purpose pieces that are, you know, not really tidy. Just put some ham in there. So, layer of ham on the chicken, and what's left? Some cheese. I had to shave some of the cheese because it was a bit too thick to what the cheesemaker did. So really thin kind of shavings of cheese there. And you know, that's all we're gonna need really. You know, I'm not gonna make anything super complicated. And it's just a matter of then trying to roll that thing. You know, so I'm gonna start with this small bit. And I'm gonna try to press down as I go. And to really just have a roll. So a bit of a roll out thing. As you can see here, look, it can happen. You got a little bit of an untidy bit. The chicken, I'm gonna trim that off. And you know, it's not a perfect thing, perfect roll, but still all right. Okay, so now if you got multiple chicken escalope, just make them all, and then you need to keep this in the fridge for at least 10 minutes before you move on to the paneer stage. For me, I'm just gonna put this in the fridge now, and I'm gonna start working with the veal to show you the other one. We're gonna try to customize a bit this cordon bleu. And now for the other cordon bleu made with the veal. So what's important when you make a food of this cordon bleu? It's not the perfection or how perfectly raw it is. It is what you're going to be using for ingredients. I'm using here farmhouse veal, right, from a local farm. This cheese here, again, from the cheesemonger, and very good vintage of blue cheese, quite fresh and very creamy. And this is a very good pancetta as well. So what are we going to do? Well, the same thing. We're going to take all the ingredients and put them on. So this is really me cooking. One piece of pancetta and that cheese here, you see. I'm just gonna take like shavings of it, little pieces, and I'm just gonna go like that and prepare, you know, the way I want it. How much cheese I want, how little I want, you know, that's how it goes with French food, really. Just go with your filling. Well, I have to say, when I go with the filling, it ends up with a lot of blue cheese because I'm a bit of a, you know, I kind of like blue cheese. So I left, you see, a little zone here with not too much. Yeah, so in front and on the back. And I've changed the angle of the camera so you can see maybe rolled from the side there. And see how we go. Yeah, so try maybe to use one hand. And it's a bit tougher. So veal is like, you know, it's a bit like pork really. So I really have to push this in, press it down, and you can go, you know, pretty piece of pancetta there, and that's it. You know, again we've got a roll, and same thing, I'm going to put this in the fridge, wait 10 minutes, and next stage is the paneer. And now the meat is ready. We're going to do the paneer à l'anglaise with the paneer. We've seen this before. It uses first flour, then beaten eggs, whole eggs with a bit of salt, and then we've got the homemade breadcrumbs. So I'm going to show you step by step how to do this. So the first step, of course, flour. So you can roll your roulade or your cordon bleu in the flour. And once it's there, the most important is really just to tap it like this, and you leave a thin coating of flour on it. So you don't want to have too much. So that's enough. Next you got the egg, and then you've got the breadcrumbs. So I start first by putting my cordon bleu, I roll it in the egg, in a fresh egg like this. You can cut it, it's quite fragile. And as soon as it's done, you take it out and boom. See? And you're gonna be gentle and cover. So you're gonna repeat the same process with whatever cordon bleu you have until you have that nicely coated cordon bleu. And you see? See how it looks like? Perfect. Look at that. Yum, 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 look at this. Even though it's homemade and just home food, look at these lovely little cordon bleu. And just looking at that, I know it's going to be pretty good. So immediately, let's cook those things. Okay, so I'm going to take a pan, a little bit of butter in there. It's about a tablespoon. And I'm mixing this with about the same thing, about half a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon of oil as well. And I'm going to wait for the butter to melt and start to foam slightly. And immediately, I'm going to put our cordon bleu in. Okay, it should be hard enough. So what I'm going to do here, and I'm taking the bottom part straight on. And that's going to seal the bottom of the cordon bleu. Okay, and very gently, it's got a medium heat. I'm going to wait until it starts to color from the under of the cordon bleu. We want a nice seal under, so nothing's going to escape. Now, all this is cooking. So the theory here, chicken breast in general, 15 minutes cooking time, okay? So we start with 5 minutes in the pan just by coloring. So I'm just gonna try to see the under of those things. Yeah, see, nice color. So it's 5 minutes in the butter, in a pan, just to get some color going. And after that, we're gonna finish it in the oven. To finish them off, usually I add a little piece of butter like that. You see, so it makes plenty of sauce. And I'm gonna use that butter to do a bit of a basting. And the final basting before I put these in the oven. So really by taking the butter and making sure it's coated with hot butter in there. We don't want something dry. So a nice basting with another tablespoon of butter and then bang, in the oven. Okay, the heat is off. I've turned the cordon bleu back on the original size and I'm gonna use that pan made of stainless steel and I'm gonna put this pan straight into the oven. I'm not transferring this to anything. I'm just taking that pan straight in the oven, 10 to 15 minutes, and I'll tell you how we check to make sure it's really cooked from the inside at the end. Okay, so the cordon bleu is in the oven. I'm just showing you my homemade kind of oven fries. This is something I'm kind of working on at the moment, so I was not doing the demo already. But that's a way of doing the fries with a minimum of oil. And it's just like 2 tablespoons of oil for fries, and you can season them with whatever you want. So that's an example of how they look like without a deep fryer, just done in the oven. It's really practical. So I do a separate video on that, but just wanted to show you I'm gonna, use those beautiful fries to serve with the cordon bleu. Now the cordon bleu is about to be ready, and this is the tool we're going to be using to check if it's cooked. Okay, this is a simple cooking thermometer. The bell is on. Let's take them out and check. Mission control, the cordon bleus are ready, and look at this, they are juicy. There's plenty of butter in there. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to use our thermometer. It's on, as you can see here, and I'm just going to take the temperature of the cordon bleu, so just prick it in the inside there and check. Yeah, ooh, oh yes. So that's like even 72 degrees, like that's like way too hot. So immediately out, cooked, done. Are we cutting the thing to see what it looks inside? I think that's what we don't care about the fries, again, go away fries. Well, we care about them after, but there's some priority in life, First, we need to see how cordon bleu is cooked. Look at that. Ooh, that means, my friend, that means that it is pretty well done. Look at this. Well, I can't resist, I'm gonna try, okay? It's nice and tender. You know what? I could have put more cheese. Okay, this is the veal one. Let's have a quick look inside. Smaller, but it's with blue cheese. I love blue cheese. Let's see as well. Well cooked. Ooh, yeah, the cheese is totally different. Let me try the flavor. You can see these layers of cheese and just pieces of cheese inside. So it holds well, very well actually. Well, totally different. Of course, not only the meat, but that the pancetta with the blue cheese, that kind of blue cheese, soft cheese. Really, really great. But I think we can call this a success, guys. With these homemade fries, the homemade cordon bleu, and this is what I'm gonna be eating for tonight. So that's an example for you on what sometimes I'm making outside of my normal videos. Well, really interesting this cordon bleu recipe, and really you can change the original recipe, use different cheese, different types of meats, and like I did, it's really interesting to expand your palate, and you get used to new flavors. And if you do something, by the way, let me know either in the comment section or just post your picture on Instagram, #FrenchCookAcademy. I love to see your work and what you guys are doing in your kitchen. As always, also don't forget Facebook, Patreon, you can become a Patreon, and a new thing, the newsletter, to receive all my videos every single week by mail, plus lots of new information coming up and some new projects in bracket. I'm telling you, some big things stirring in the background. Don't forget to sign up, the link is in the video description. I will leave you with this home recipe, and next time we'll resume and the normal course of action with a technical French cooking, as we always do on the French Cooking Academy. Take care all, I'll see you all then, bye bye.